What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews. I've got 3 picks that I put down that I'm going to take you through today. If that sounds interesting, let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice and the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
So before we jump into the 3 picks, we do have to recap the day that was. I shared 4 picks with you guys in the last video. We go 2 and 2 once again. The 2 losers are the ones we only staked 0.75 units on. So if you just ran those at the units I recommended, you would have made a slight profit. But overall for VIP, about 5 units under. And it was another one of these days where we're kind of breaking even and then the value plays don't deliver. So I had a brutal number of hooks on the value plays today. So not overly too upset about it. But I have spoken to some people who are. And what I've told them is, if you're struggling with not winning every single day, the reminder is that we're playing the long game. We risk 10 to 15 units every single day. We have the opportunity to win 50 units. We've been profitable for 5 months and we've amassed 270 units profit this NBA season. There's always going to be downswings. We're gambling at the end of the day. If you want to be conservative and you don't want to lose as often, then you should only be running straight picks where you only bet 5 units a day, but the most you'll win is 5 units. Like, that is a more conservative way to play. And personally, I don't do it that way. I like a little bit of risk, a little bit of fun, and I like the opportunity to make a lot of money. So I'm going to stick to the process. We'll stay disciplined, try to improve each and every single day. But let's talk about it. I managed to find a lot of volume on this day. Initially, when I was looking at it, I was like, I don't like too much. And then when I did my recap, I was like, damn, I got 10 picks down. Let's talk about it. Sanjel Dama, Luke Kennard. These are the ones we only bet 0.75 units on. They both started absolutely garbage. They both heated up at the same time. And then the Grizzlies absolutely blew out the Jazz. So these guys didn't play the minutes that I projected them to. So that absolutely sucks. But at the end of the day, this was a bad read. And the whole reason why was I got so fixated on the matchup. I got fixated that Jar's not going to be there. Like, these guys are killing it without Jar. And they have a fantastic matchup. And I overlooked the blowout potential. So that was terrible from my end. I'm man enough to admit that. Kai Jones, I took him for over 9.5 points. He finishes with 9. He had 7 points in the first quarter. My man was cooking. And then 2 things happened. Najee Marshall goes crazy. 38 points, 40 points, something like that. He goes crazy. And the New York Knicks remembered how to play basketball. So they absolutely ran riot and they smashed the Mavs. At the end of the day, I think this was still a good bet. And I'll be betting more Kai Jones if his line's under 10 points. I took Darius Garland under 22.5 points. I got to say, I thought the read was good, but Darius Garland was amazing today. I expected a tough matchup. I expected them to limit him above the break where he scores most of his points. And that happened. He only made 1 3-pointer today, which is crazy, but he absolutely killed them with a whole lot of drives, a whole lot of floaters. So hats off to Darius Garland. He played really well. The lesson out of this is that Tumani Kamara matchup that I was kind of angling this bet on, it might be better to fade 3-point props moving forward for guards that he's defending instead of their overall points line. I also bet on Brandon Podziemski over 2.5 points in the first quarter. We got gifted with Steph Curry not being there. Podziemski had the opportunities, and he finished with 2 points in the first quarter. He missed easy shots. He missed a free throw to start the game. And that's the variance in first quarter props. Like, you kind of learn your fate very quickly. It's a real sweat from the minute the game starts. It's fun, but it's frustrating as hell sometimes. Like, what sucks as well, I had a strong lead on Bankroll to go over his first quarter, and I didn't play that. That cashed. Such is life. But we did win some bets too. Denny Advia over 13.5 rebounds and assists. This was an easy cash. He's high minutes. He's an absolute beast. Like, and that was one of the easiest picks I could find straight away. But the feeling I had for Denny Advia yesterday is the same feeling I had for Nikola Vucevic the day prior. And we all remember how that one played out. Mikal Bridges over 21.5 points and assists. This didn't happen the way I wanted to. Bridges has been consistent since Brunson's been out because out of OG, Cat, and Josh Hart, usually one of them sucks complete ass. And that's where Mikal Bridges comes in, and he becomes Mr. Consistent. In this particular game, OG, Cat, and Josh Hart, they all played great, which made me sweat a little bit around Bridges, but he still managed to cash to 21.5 points and assists. I know that this line did eventually close at 22.5, so some people would have got hooked. So I apologize for that. I honestly thought this would hit a lot easier than it did. Evan Mobley took him for over 19.5 points. He got it done late in typical Mobley fashion. The minute the Blazers went small, Evan Mobley killed it. So I was happy with that. Steven Adams took him for 7+ rebounds. This was an alternate line. We moved it up to get much better odds. And yeah, what can I say? Steven Adams is an absolute beast. Mark Williams took him for over 8.5 boards. A lot of people took this at 9.5 boards at plus money, and he cashed that with ease as well. So Mark Williams was great today, and we only hit the one value play. Denny Ardvia value play at plus 220. Man, got hooked on a few as well. So that sucked. Got some great news today as well. After losing this money, then got notified by one of the sports books that my account's been limited. So just a fantastic day all around. But we're going to shake it off. I've got a couple of picks here, and let me talk you through the process for them. But first, we're jumping into Props Madness, the best tool you're going to find if you like betting on NBA player props. It's going to be essential for the NBA playoffs, and then it's going to be the go-to for WNBA as well. So you can pretty much bet this all year round. Go ahead and check it out. Props Madness. What was I going to say? My thoughts for today. So I had some cravings today. I was actually quite hungry, and whenever I get hungry, I tend to eat the same thing every single time. It's a certain type of cereal, and when I eat it, man, it just fills the void in my stomach. All my problems go away. I could honestly eat that every single day of my life. And I was thinking about NBA player props. It's like, who am I going to bet on today? I've gone through the slate, and I figured I'm just going to go with what I love. Like, every time I bet on it, it seems to hit, and we're just going to run with that. So I've got 3 players that I've bet on recently numerous times that have cashed me out every single time. So I'm going back to it just the way I go back to my favorite cereal, despite the amount of weight that I put on from eating it. So the 3 players that I have, they're probably not going to overexcite you. They might even be popular plays, but let's talk through it. A lot of them are in the early slate. The last 3 games of the day, some lineups need to be confirmed, stuff like that. So I'm waiting to bet on those. But on 2 of the games, I've got a couple of reads on. So this first one is the 76ers versus the Wizards. And if you've been tailing my bets and what I bet on when the Wizards play and the 76ers, we're looking at Justin Edwards here today. Justin Edwards, I've bet him on his last 2 games. He's got me paid every single time. The write-up for the last 2 games, I could pretty much copy and paste it and just talk through it here with the Washington Wizards. So pretty much Justin Edwards is getting starter minutes now. He has so for the last 5 games, and he's been absolutely crushing it. His shot volume is consistent as hell. 14 plus shots in all 5 games. The last 2 games, he took 18 plus shots. So the volume is excellent. He's pretty consistent scoring the ball. This line used to sit at around 13.5. 2 games ago, it moved to 16.5, and shit, I ain't scared of that. We're still running this. Now, the last game, his line was at 16.5. Quentin Grimes was ruled out. He finished with 19 points, barely scored in the 4th quarter, must I say. And what I noticed is without Quentin Grimes, it's difficult for him to get a good look. So if you look at his volume, yeah, the volume was there, but the quality of his shots wasn't near what he was seeing when Quentin Grimes was playing. He only shot 33% in that last game against New Orleans Pelicans. Quentin Grimes expected to return in this game. So if anything, I think Quentin Grimes coming back helps Justin Edwards. It gives him a point guard. Well, not really a traditional point guard, but it gives him a guard who can create shots for others. And I think Justin Edwards could benefit from Quentin Grimes being there. He's also up against the Washington Wizards today. They've got the 2nd worst defensive rating in the league. And with the number of injuries that they have, I would only assume that it's not going to get better in this particular game. So Justin Edwards over 16.5 points. That's the first wagon that I've got for you. We're going to call all 3 of these wagons. And the reason why is because they've just been delivering lately, right? So next one, we're going to the Lakers versus the Pacers. And I've got 2 different picks in this one. The first one, we're going with Luka. I'm not going to say his surname because apparently I keep saying it wrong. So we're just going with Luka, taking Luka over 9.5 points in the 1st quarter. Now, all the other times I've been betting this, the line's been at 8.5, at 9.5. I've got no fear. When it was at 8.5, I was taking it at 10 plus anyway to get some better odds. At 9.5, I'm still down to play it. So he's over this line in 6 consecutive games now, sweet Luka. And I know that LeBron's just recently come back in the last 2 games. And it doesn't matter because Luka's made it happen. So he's got a great form at the moment with LeBron in the lineup anyway. Luka's over this line in 7 out of 13 games, but more recently, 5 out of his last 6. With the last one he went under was against the Boston Celtics, and the Boston Celtics, they give Luka nightmares. Ever since the NBA Finals last year, it just hasn't been the same. So he got a little bit shook in that one. But here up against the Indiana Pacers, fast-paced team. He's cooked them before, 14 points in the 1st quarter the last time he played the Pacers. This was back in November. Luka was dealing with injuries and everything, and he still managed to get cooking then. He's averaging 15 points over this 6-game stretch, 12.5 points per game when LeBron's in there. Like, let's go. What else can I say? So I am likening Luka to score in the 1st quarter. If the shot's not falling, we know he's going to bait himself into some free throws. He'll get some free throws. He won't stop jacking up threes. And I think I like about this is Luka, his fitness is always going to be questionable. But in the first quarter, with fresh legs, let's go. I like it. Lakers lost 2 games in a row, pushing not to make it a third. I think Luka's going to be switched on and engaged in this one. So I like Luka to score some points in the first quarter. Give me that. And my next play, I would have to assume that this is the most popular bet of the day. It's Tyrese Halliburton to get a double-double. Like it has to be. It just makes so much sense. I think throughout this streak, since late Feb, we're looking at 11 consecutive games now where Tyrese Halliburton's had a double-double. I think I started betting this after he had like 5 or 6. So since then, it's been 5 consecutive games with Tyrese Halliburton diamond the hell up, and I have bet on it quite a few times. So I'm just going back to the old faithful here, smashing on Tyrese Halliburton to get these assists. Like he's up against the Lakers, whose defense hasn't been great. They let the Bulls put a masterclass on him. They let the Magic put a masterclass on him, and the Magic, their offense sucks. This Pacers team, they can score some points, and Tyrese Halliburton is the architect behind all that. The Lakers, especially post the All-Star break, have been really weak at limiting points to spot-up shooters, especially hitting that weak side. Any penetration from Tyrese Halliburton is going to find some shooters. They're going to leave the corners open. Luka's not going to close out, yada, yada, yada. I just think Tyrese Halliburton can get it done today. His assist line's at 10.5. I'd honestly take the over on that too, but I'm just rolling with the double-double purely for the reason it's got a better hit rate, and I can't see a world where he doesn't score 10 points either. So it's a pretty simple play. Tyrese Halliburton to get a double-double against the Lakers, and that's pretty much it. So those are my 3 picks. Let me talk you through some of the things I did consider, though. Alexa, I expected. I didn't expect. I was close to betting Alexa over his points prop. He went over his points prop against the Raptors. His line was 13.5, I think, in that game. He went over it. I expected a bounce back, and he still shot like shit, to be honest. So if anything, there's still opportunity to go up. He's got a great matchup here against Philly. They give up a lot of points to spot-up shooters, bigs in the pick and roll, a lot of points above the break and around the rim. Like, this is the perfect matchup for Alexa to score some points. But I don't know if I can trust the French baguette right now. So that's one that I was very close to betting on. The other one is Aaron Naismith. I do have a bet on this, but it's a smaller bet, so didn't want to make a big deal out of it. But I think he's got a great matchup here against the Lakers. And who else is there? We've got the Clippers and Knicks. Did I consider anyone here? Josh Hart rebounds, I considered. But the reason, once I thought it through, the main reason I was strongly considering this was the fact that he got 20 rebounds in the last game against the Clippers. Like that is such a big thing. And I'm like, how do I angle this, and how can I be sure that he does it again? And then I realized I can't. Maybe that 20 rebound game was an outlier, so I kind of stood away from it. But there's some game time decisions in that game that I'd prefer to wait on. Then we got the Bucks versus the Nuggets. Wanted to bet on Brook Lopez, but what haunts me is DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan shut my man Nikola Vucevic down, and I'm scared he's going to do that to my man Brolo. But Brook Lopez does have a high line. Obviously, we got no Dame. So that's what I'm considering. But again, there's more injury news in this game, so I'd prefer to wait to see who's playing and who isn't. And then the Celtics versus the Suns. Jaylen Brown, rebounds and assists. This is like an automatic play when Jason Tatum's not playing. Averages 14.8 rebounds and assists this season. Lines at, I think it opened at 9.5. It's at 10.5 now, and it probably moves to 11.5. And I bet this twice this season when Jason Tatum didn't play, because these numbers also very similar last year. But the reason why I'm not betting it is because of this. I watched the last game that Boston played the Kings, and my God, Jaylen Brown was awful. That's what I'd say. He had so many turnovers, couldn't handle the rock, barely got any rebounds, barely got any assists, couldn't score too many points, I don't think. Let me check. Yeah, and he had 9 points in 26 minutes. Like, yeah, he looked like he forgot how to play basketball, and that's burnt into my brain right now. So taking the game straight after that, I'm a little bit hands off. I don't want to touch that. So I pass on that. I wanted to take Kristaps Porzingis points and rebounds in this game. But this line has skyrocketed. It opened at 24.5 and it's at 26.5 now. Chances are it closes at 27.5 at the minimum. And that's because Kristaps Porzingis without Jason Tatum has been really strong. The only under was against Orlando. Obviously, it's an awful matchup for him. He shot 2 for 10 in that game. So, and he finished with 21. So a slight improvement to his shooting percentage, and he gets there. So the points and the rebounds for Kristaps Porzingis, I think, is a fantastic look without Jason Tatum. Good matchup here against the Phoenix Suns as well. I think I'm just like scared that I might have lost a little bit of value on this one, and that's because the line has moved so much. I hate to get hooked on something like this, is what I'm saying. So Kristaps points and rebounds, I still think is a good look, but I don't know. I'll see where it's at when I wake up in the morning. But outside of that, nothing is jumping out to me, or not the way that the others did. And just like my favorite cereal that I like to smash every single day, not willing to smash some of these players right now. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to wait, have a nice sleep, wake up fresh. Probably won't wake up fresh. I've got kids. Who's kidding? But wake up, dive a little bit deeper, wait for projections to become a little bit clearer, and obviously lineups as well. This lineup bullshit, it's got me rattled a bit in the brain. Like, so worried that a lineup's going to change, and then I've got to reset all my bets and then submit it to people, and then people say I can't cash out. And then it's anarchy. So I didn't want to commit to anything too early, but the three that I've already put down and shared with you guys. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully it's what we expect to happen. That's all I'm going to say. All we can do is our best. We can just do our best, try to make the best reads we possibly can, stay disciplined, manage our bankroll. Because what I found is, a lot of these days on the NBA is bullshit, which makes it difficult to win every single day. But sometimes everything just happens the way that it should. And those are the days where we green out. So hopefully one of those is coming. But I do wish you guys the best of luck. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.